League preview show. I know we're usually outside one of the wonderful stadiums, but today it's cold, it's rainy, so we are in our very own Don Robbie studio.
Like the divas that we are.
Exactly, the divas that we are. And I'm joined, instead of Flex this week, of course, I've got the beautiful Pippa.
I'm back.
Twice in a week. How lucky am I?
I think this is good for me as an Arsenal fan, because once I do this, Arsenal win, so it's a good omen. It's a good omen.
Is that what we're bringing it down to?
Reaching.
Okay, we're reaching, but it's fine. So, of course, we're back with another Premier League preview show. Yes. So many massive games as well this weekend, kicking off with Liverpool versus Manchester City. They won this fixture, Manchester City, 4-1 last season, ending a run of 17 away league games without a win at Liverpool. But they haven't won consecutive games since 1953 against Liverpool. Wow. How do you see this one shaping?
I back Man City to win this somehow. Even though Liverpool are unbeaten in the league so far, they're two very strong teams. And I feel like this will be a different Liverpool v Man City than we've seen in previous seasons. Like you said, last season, 4-1. There was a draw the year before. But then Man City also beat them during the Project Restart. I think it was like 4-0. It was a big win for them. So I don't know if we'll see massive scorelines like that. But with the, back of City beating Chelsea, Pep beating Tuchel, I think that's a big statement for them. And they did have the best Champions League. I know Liverpool.
The thing is, I actually don't. I know that it's quite contrasting. Obviously, Liverpool beating Porto 4-1, which was fantastic, and City losing to PSG 2-0. But I actually didn't think City were bad.
No, they weren't bad. Obviously, it's a very difficult opposition to get through. Some star players in that team as well. Yeah. So it's a different argument for Liverpool's Champions League game against Man City's one. But in terms of this Premier League fixture, I don't know, I think Man City's got the cutting edge over this one. It'll be very hard though. It could end up a draw, but I'm expecting Man City to come out with a result. Yeah,
and as you mentioned as well, Liverpool are the only side still unbeaten in the Premier League this season, with 4 wins and 2 draws. And they've also scored more times than anyone this season.
So it sounds ridiculous me saying Man City will win.
It does, but the thing is, I feel that City from the other night, they had everything but goals, and I think that maybe they missed a bit of a trick not playing Gabriel Jesus the other night. I don't know why he chose to bench him, especially after beating Chelsea just a few days before, and went with Sterling up top. Do you expect Jesus to come back into the side?
I actually do. I think that's the main reason he was rested, well, not rested, but wasn't featured in that Champions League game. I think we'll see him a lot more in his Premier League fixtures. It's a big fixture. Raheem Sterling's in previous seasons normally been the man that they focus on, even though he's not the one that makes the headlines for all the goals and assists. He had a really good season the year before, and the year that Liverpool actually won the league, 2020. So that was last year, wasn't it?
The last year was 2020.
Yeah. It's all over the place. But I feel like Jesus is now the man that Pep looks to. So it seems, beginning of the season.
Well, he's technically their only striker, I guess. But that's why I thought it was bizarre to leave him out on Tuesday in a game of that magnitude. Why would you lose your only striker and leave him on the bench?
I think he'll come into play. It depends where he plays Jesus, because Jesus, you say he's a striker, he plays out on the right. Sterling could still feature in this game. For both of them could play. Maybe both of them will score, but it will be a tough game. If I was to give a prediction, it would probably be 1-1, but I think City will have that cutting edge to get 2-1.
Okay.
Oh no, Liverpool's unbeaten run ended. Not great.
Well, look, City are going to have to bounce back from that loss the other day. So your prediction was what, 2-1?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with... I'm trying to not sit on the fence.
It does feel like a draw though, doesn't it?
Do you know what? Because it's at Anfield, on this occasion I'm going to back Liverpool. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. Also, Pep Guardiola has lost more games against Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp than anyone else. And don't forget, guys, that this game is going to be on the Don Robbie stream on Sunday at 5:30.
Big Super Sunday.
Make sure that you tune in and watch that. I think Don Robbie is doing that watch along, isn't he?
I believe so.
Yep, so make sure you are here. Before we move on, let's obviously go to Ultimate Fan. You guys know that we do this every single week. Just to remind you all, it's free to play or subscribe, and you get a pack of base cards that drop into your app every single Tuesday. It's a pack of 3. You can get a silver pack if you subscribe for $2.99 per month and receive exclusive football content. A silver pack drop every Tuesday and guaranteed 3 silver cards. Or you can get a gold pack if you subscribe for $4.99 per month and receive 1 free case of Beer 52 craft beer and a £10 £100 gift card, exclusive football content, gold card pack drop every Tuesday, guaranteed 2 gold cards and 1 silver. Of course, you have to be 18 plus to game in UK and Ireland only, and the link is in the description. Pippa,
yes.
Let's talk about your pack.
I opened my gold pack today, and I got Jamie Vardy. We'll talk about him. I also got Man City as a team.
Okay.
Who else have I got? My gold players are Thomas Souček, Ollie Watkins, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Zaha, Lukaku. So some good gold.
You got a good pack.
Yeah, I didn't get that all in the same pack, but those are all my gold players for my gold pack.
See, that could all be yours if you guys subscribe. Or, of course, as we mentioned, you can play free as well. All right, moving on to Manchester United versus Everton. Yes. I feel like this is actually quite a big game as well. There's always so much history in this game. And they've lost just one of their last 12 Premier League game meetings with Everton. United, you saw how they did in the Champions League the other day. That very, very late winner.
A win's a win.
A win's a win.
And everyone loves a last-minute winner, to be honest with you.
I mean, it was literally like the final kick of the game. I mean, who else but Ronaldo is going to pop up, right? How do you want this one to go? How do you see it going? Because Everton are on a good run this season as well.
The thing is, they're pretty much on the same form. It's 5th against 4th, I believe. They've both won 4 games, lost 1, drawn 1, from what I can remember. So they're literally on the same form.
Yeah.
So this is another game that can go either way. We've seen that Manchester United have not won games convincingly. They've both teams have lost against Aston Villa, and they both struggled to score against them. Yeah. Don't know what that has to do with this game, but they're clearly, literally, pretty much in the same form. But you look at Manchester United as the bigger team because they are the bigger club and the bigger team. But in this fixture, at this point in the season...
You have to look at the players as well that United have. Obviously, there's so much talk about whether or not United are going to be title contenders. Should they be winning the league with that squad, which they have assembled now? It just
Avengers assembled.
It is literally like Avengers assembled. But that's the thing. It's just when you watch them play, they haven't been that convincing in most games.
I think in this game, as much as Man United fans or football fans may not agree, this game needs to be a statement for United to win this convincingly. When I say convincingly, I mean 2-3-0, keep a clean sheet, or definitely score more than 2 goals and wipe the floor of everything.
And show the difference in quality. However, obviously United being at home, this is quite an interesting stat, that United's last 8 Premier League defeats have all come in home games. And we know their away form is fantastic, but obviously that is a bit of a worry, the fact that being at home, which has always been a fortress for United, that's where they're dropping the most points.
Yeah, that's a bit worrying. But I think, I don't know what has to change there for the team overall, but they have to step up to the plate now. They've got the players there, they've got the quality, they've got the J Lings and CR7 combination going on.
I know that little touch yesterday as well.
Who would have thought that? So they need to turn up.
What about Jadon Sancho? I feel personally a little bit underwhelmed by that signing. I think because there was so much hype over him. I know it's still early days, obviously, I'm not writing him off yet. But I think a lot of other people would have expected him to come burst straight onto the scene, kind of how he did at Dortmund.
Yeah,
and we just haven't seen it yet.
That's the problem when there's so much hype around a young player. It's so much pressure on them. It was hype from the season before when he went to come and Dortmund was trolling.
It felt like the transfer went on and on and on.
And so even if he scored at least 1 goal so far this season, it's always going to be underwhelming unless he scores like a hat-trick or has some man-in-the-match performance, because everyone's going to be focusing on what he can do, because everyone, especially United fans, waited over a year for him to arrive. He's arrived and they haven't seen what they expected to see. It's a completely different league to the Bundesliga, so they have to give him time. He's young and he needs to fit into this United squad. He's also surrounded by superstars. He's just come into this team and he's now teammates with Ronaldo. It's a lot to take on for a young man
as you do.
that grew up in South London. So
I mean, think about someone like Mason Greenwood. I mean, he's just about to turn 20. I feel like Greenwood's been around for ages.
And he doesn't feel that young, does he?
He's so young still, and you just think, wow, what an incredible opportunity for him in that United side to learn and play with Cristiano Ronaldo as well.
I think he needs to be featured more. Because at the start of the season, he was having
a great start to the season. I just don't know what. But again, there's always questions over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, isn't there? I mean, Flex is always quite vocal about that.
A lot of United fans are vocal, especially the ones on Twitter.
They are very, very vocal. But I think, they're going to have to, show a bit more steeliness about the Manchester United. Moving on to Everton, though.
I want to give a prediction for that one.
We're not finished yet.
Oh.
Just wait.
Okay.
Andros Townsend has been involved in 7 goals in 8 games,
which is on fire.
He is on fire for them, and that is such a good move for him from Crystal Palace. And of course, Benitez has come in. I guess he's kind of got Everton fans on side, hasn't he? Yeah.
I mean, everyone was a bit worried. They made it seem as if he came straight from Liverpool to Everton. There was a lot of clubs in between that. So even though there's history and there's a whole Merseyside derby there, I can understand why Everton fans were a bit cautious about him coming to the club. But I'm sure he's got them on side. He's getting results. He's got 4 wins so far this season. That's better than a lot of clubs for a new manager to do that as well. Not new to the league, but he's new to the team.
But they're just quietly going about their business, aren't they, Everton? I think that, you know, if he would have come in and had a shaky start to the season, then, you know, it would have been...
They'd have been like,
outrage.
intruder.
Yeah, I mean, you know how they were getting like in pre-season that they didn't want him. So I think that it's really good for him from a Benitez perspective. He's come in and he's had a good start. Predictions. Now you can go.
2-1 Manchester United. I think Man United need to get a win. Like I said, they need to get ideally like a 3-0. But I do think they'll get a win, and I think it'll be 2-1 to United.
Okay, I'm going to do this as a draw. Ooh. I think it was going to be 2-2. I don't know why.
That seems very likely though.
I know.
They are pretty much neck and neck.
I'm just sitting on the fence on this one. I feel like Everton have a bit about them at the moment. And I just feel like potentially maybe United could be tired from Wednesday night.
No.
Just saying. You never know.
We're not tired.
You never know.
We're just getting started.
They are just getting started, but you never know. Sometimes there is a European hangover. And I know they obviously haven't travelled on this occasion, but I'm just going 2-2. I feel like this could be a good game.
Okay.
On to Brighton versus Arsenal. Now, Brighton missed their chance to go top the other night. They still look good.
But the fact that they still have that quality in the team to still nick a point at the final second of the game.
I love that. Neil Maupay is such a shithouser, isn't he? He absolutely loves it.
And the thing is, Zaha is easily wound up. And I don't know what Neil said to him, but whatever it was, it set him off. Set him and the rest of the team off. But you got to love that from your striker. You need that a player in your team that can get you a result, get you goals, and still ruffle up a few feathers in a derby, because it's a big game to them. And they walked away with at least a point. And even though they expected 3, they got something out of that game.
Absolutely, and they had that like never say die attitude as well. They've won their last 4 Premier League home games, which is good, as many as they did in their last 22 before that at the Amex. Obviously, Arsenal are on a good little run now. Well, they've conceded 1 in 3. And also, I mean, you're on a very good run after beating Spurs in the North London derby as well. Good confidence booster for you lot. How do you think that you guys will get on down there, though? Because we've just spoken about how well Brighton have been doing.
I think this will be a big test for Arsenal and Arteta. I think it will be a bigger test than we thought Spurs would have been. And it's even more so of a test because even though we've now finally got a fully fit team, Xhaka is injured and out for about 3 months. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans are on the fence with him, but he's quite pivotal in that midfield role. And it's going to be a huge test because Brighton are on top form. Like you say, they've got the never say die attitude and they're at home. It's going to be tense. I don't see a lot of goals in this game.
No, I think this is like a 1-0.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tense game.
Who comes in then for Granit Xhaka in midfield?
That's the thing. I was listening to the press conference this morning with Arteta. He didn't give nothing away, but he mentioned Maitland-Niles. Some of the other journalists were mentioning, is it Lokonga? Is it Maitland-Niles? Could it be Elneny? He's not giving anything away. So we could most likely see Ainsley come in because he said he likes the look of him. But I think fans would probably prefer to see Lokonga in there.
Is that because you want to see what he's about? Obviously, he came in right at the start of the season, didn't he? And then when was the last time that he featured? He
played against AFC Wimbledon briefly. He also played against Burnley away. And he did say that, he didn't say that he struggled, but he just had a rude awakening and was like, okay, so this is English football. This is the physicality. This is how the ball's coming over.
That type of game will wake you up, in fairness.
So Brighton could be pretty similar because they've got some real strength and ballers in that midfield too. So it's going to be interesting to see if Lokonga does start and if he can match up to the English expectations of the Premier League. So it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal get on in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Prediction for this one? You're going to back Arsenal, aren't you?
I have to back Arsenal. I'll go 1-0, even though that would have me on the ropes for 90 minutes. But I'll go 1-0 Arsenal.
Okay, I'm going to go 1-0 Brighton, obviously. Okay, moving on to Tottenham versus Aston Villa. Very tough game for Tottenham. The form that they're on at the moment is not good. It is not looking good. Aston Villa, on the other hand, have kind of been flying the last few games. You know, we've seen the likes of even Matty Cash, Leon Bailey, just to name a few. Obviously, Danny Ings you bring into the mix as well.
Defenders, Courtney House last
week at United. Tottenham have lost their last 3 Premier League games by an aggregate score of 9-1 because it's just funny. It's just funny.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
If I can't laugh at my own team, what can I do? The last time they lost 4 in the competition was in November 2004.
No.
So it's not looking good at the minute for Spurs. Danny Ings has scored 6 goals in his last 6 appearances against Tottenham in all comps, including 4 in his last 3 against them. But he has also been on the losing side 4 out of 5 times. So there's always stats and we can work around it. However, Aston Villa, where do we actually expect them to be this season?
At this point in the season or at the end of the season?
At the end of the season.
Do you know what? I think they can finish a strong 7th.
Yeah.
And that's a strong finish.
That is a strong
finish.
finish.
They could finish. Well, but I'm only going on the basis of 5 games here.
I know, but when we take into account obviously Aston Villa from last season, they and how they played last year, obviously with Grealish, that obviously we've spoken many times about how they've cashed in and done good business by the looks of it. It looks like they're quite together, doesn't it? And they kind of all pushing in the right direction, and they're playing good football at the same time.
And I feel like there's a lot of players on that team with this extra winning mentality. Like, obviously, I'm only going off by what I see after the final whistle and what I see on social media. The fact that Leon Bailey wasn't even featured in the United game, but he's there watching. Was it the United game? Yeah, he was watching and supporting from home, and that extra support and showing the fan base how much this means. Yeah, because they're a team that expect to win and expect to walk away with they don't go there to walk away with nothing. Yeah, and you don't expect that normally from teams like Aston Villa. They normally go to United and be like, oh God, we're lucky if we get a draw here or something like that. So the mentality that they're at right now is a team that people should be fearing. Like the teams that they've beaten so far. No, I'm not even trying, like United, Tottenham, Everton. These are big wins for them at this part of the season.
No, they absolutely are. They are very big wins. Harry Kane has not scored in any of his last 5 Premier League appearances, with the striker last having a longest drought in 15-16 campaign.
That's what I remember, because Leicester.
I love that you remember that more than I do.
Only because it was so close at certain points of the season that when Leicester come up, basically.
God, that's ages
and
ago.
Arsenal had that win against them in February, and then there was the race between Tottenham and Arsenal. They finished quite high, so when people bring up these stats about Harry Kane not scoring, having this drought, he will have that drought, but then there'll be a moment in the season where he just ignites.
And then that's it, and he explodes. The only concern is obviously that we're not looking like scoring from a Spurs perspective anywhere on the pitch, and they're not really creating anything either. So things have to start changing. Hopefully it'll be this weekend. Prediction for this game?
Aston Villa 2-0.
I'm going to go Aston Villa 2, Spurs 1.
Oh, they'll score then?
I think we'll score. I don't think we'll win. It'll be more like a consolation.
What if it ends up 4-0?
It could very well end up 4-0. It really could end up 4-0. I'm just happy I'm at a wedding this weekend. So I've got another weekend where
What day is Tottenham Aston Villa? Sunday? Sunday?
Yeah.
I might go.
No, you want to go?
Yeah, in the Villa corner, like, come on.
She'll be texting me. She'll be like, I hope you're having a great time at the wedding. Let's move swiftly on from that one. West Ham versus Brentford. Now, West Ham have lost.
This is a nice London derby.
There is a great London derby. They've lost their last 4 games when facing an opponent in the top flight for the first time, including Brentford, obviously, as well. They've done this with Bournemouth. They've done this with Hull, Reading and Wigan. So anyone that's basically promoted West Ham have struggled against. But West Ham don't look really to be struggling.
I don't think they'll struggle this occasion.
No, we say that about Brentford.
Brentford are on very good form for where they've come from this season. Yeah. But I don't think West Ham will struggle. There's a lot of quality in that team, and they also get results. So it's going to be a very tight contest between the 2 teams. Is it West Ham at home? West Ham are
at home. Brentford, though, have had 7 different players score for them so far in the Premier League, excluding own goals. Only Chelsea and Man City have had more. So that is pretty good from Brentford. Yeah. I mean, we always pick up Brentford, don't we? Because we're so impressed with them. But I think that Brentford could get something here. I know that we're saying that West Ham have been great. But
do you see a winner in this game, or is it a draw?
I think for me, this is a draw, because I think...
I think I see a winner in this game.
A West Ham winner.
Oh, it could go either way. That's the thing, because they both look so good at the moment. I think only because of West Ham being at home, they kind of have an advantage. Yeah. Because when we see them Brentford home games with that crowd, that's when you see Brentford pretty much at their best. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on at the London Stadium with their fans screaming Lions, Lions, or whatever they scream.
all that. Both West Ham and Brentford have made just 3 changes to their starting 11s in the Premier League this season. That's fewer than any other side. And of course, Mikel Antonio has been involved in more goals than any other player in the Premier League so far this season, which is 8, scoring 5, assisting 3. I mean, he's literally on fire. Yeah. He is on fire.
I need him in my team.
He's in mine.
Fan team, all the team. I need him in everything.
But I just don't think that we can sleep on Brentford. Brentford have literally wowed us every single week, pretty much. I mean, look at what they did last week against Liverpool.
It was incredible.
If they can get a draw against Liverpool, I would assume they could also get a draw against West Ham. I know they were at home last week, but I still think that this has got a draw on it.
I'm going to go for a bold prediction here.
On.
This is going to sound absolutely insane,
Is it
considering what I just said about West Ham having an advantage. But oh God, why do I do this? I'm going to say 3-1 Brentford.
Moving on to the other games of the weekend, Burnley versus Norwich. Ooh. What do you think about that one?
Oh, I rarely ever predict a 0-0.
This could be a 0-0.
But I think this could be a 0-0 game.
But I mean, Norwich have been pretty awful.
Very.
Surely Burnley have to get a result at home against Norwich?
Yeah, you would expect that, but something about this game just screams 0-0. It screams, I don't want to be harsh on either team, but it just, let me not say it. I'm just not expecting much from this game.
A bit of a board draw.
And even if there is something, there'll be entertainment, there'll be drama, there'll be tackles, there'll probably be bookings, there'll be a lot of drama, but I don't see goals. But if there is to be some type of winning result, I'd go 1-0 Burnley. But this screams a draw to me. 0-0 draw.
0-0 draw. I'll go 1-0 Burnley because I don't think that Norwich can keep a clean sheet away from home or at home, to be honest with you, from what I've seen. So I'll go with that. Chelsea versus Southampton. Chelsea obviously needing to bounce back. Lost.
It's not a huge bounce back.
Well, I mean, you know, the loss against Manchester City. Last night losing as well to Juventus. So they're going to need to do something. No better place to do it at home, I guess.
The oil has run out. The gas has run out.
The gas has run out.
Where's all the petrol stations?
Yeah, I know. Honestly, no petrol.
No, because honestly, they had the best start. We've mentioned it so many times.
Yeah.
What they've done in the Super Cup, the Champions League, the start to this season, they've had the best start, and at some point, as we've seen in this country, the oil does run out.
It does run out.
It runs out. But I don't think it's nothing for them to be worried about. 1-0 loss against City. It was even a 1-0 loss against Juventus. They're not huge losses.
No.
And I think that this has got a Chelsea win written all over it anyway.
What about Romelu Lukaku? Because obviously there's so much talk about him and how much he's a great signing. Are you seeing signs of that already?
Yeah.
You're seeing
signs?
Yeah.
I mean, what he's done so far is not. If he goes missing in 1 or 2 games, I don't think it's fair to critique him. But every striker will get critiqued if they don't show up for 2 to 3 games, because that's their job. You want them to score goals, but not every striker scores goals in every single game.
Yeah.
Because then they'll all be legends.
Yeah, there we go.
But you know, he's done what he can. He's just joined back to the league. Completely different style of football. He's come back to Chelsea. He scored in a few games. He's had a decent start. I think he can score against Southampton. He probably will. Yeah. And I think this will be a big win for Chelsea against Southampton.
Okay.
Thinking like 4-1, 3-1.
I mean, yeah, Southampton again haven't really done too much so far. Literally, Adam Armstrong is probably the only good thing about them at this moment in time. That's really harsh. I'm going to get so much hate from Southampton. Yeah, you will. But yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, like I always say with Southampton, they could be good if they didn't sell all their best players. Livramento's been a bit of a bright light for them as well. But apart from that, nothing to really ride home about with them. So what's your prediction?
I'm going to say either 4-1 or 3-1 to Chelsea. Okay. I think Southampton could get a goal.
Okay, I'm going to...
It's crazy that sounds, because Chelsea hardly letting goals, but they're letting 2 so far this week. So.
Yeah, they have, exactly. I'm going to, I think, back you on 3-1 Chelsea. I think that this will be a good homecoming for Chelsea and give them a bit of a confidence booster as well. On to Leeds versus Watford. Now, Leeds have to start picking up points.
They'll win this game.
Yeah, do you think so?
Yeah.
You like Watford, though. I swear you always back Watford.
I big up Ishmael Assar a couple of times, but it doesn't mean I like Watford. I don't like that.
No, I think she likes
I don't like going to Vicarage Road, darling. No, I don't mind it. They're a decent team, decent club as well. But I think at some point Leeds have to pick up, and this is the game that they have to do it at. They're at home, aren't they?
Yeah, they're at home.
Watford, they've been okay, but they are a beatable team to Leeds standards. Yeah. If we remember the standards from last season, if they could pick up whatever they had in them from last season, this weekend against Watford, that should be an easy win for them. I don't know what's missing.
I think it's just a case that obviously Leeds didn't really strengthen in the summer, to be fair. Obviously they brought in the fullback. Is it Firpo, Junior Firpo? Can't remember his name. I think that's it. But apart from that, they didn't really do much else really. And I think it's kind of a bit like how we saw with Sheffield. Obviously, I'm not comparing their style of football to Sheffield, but it's a bit like it's that second season syndrome where people know the way that Leeds play. Maybe Marcelo Bielsa doesn't mix it up enough, and also that the players are a little bit fatigued and tired.
Do you think he's gone with that? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, well,
but then that's how you get found out.
I think it's also within their budget and their constraints as well. Leeds, obviously, if they're not going to bring in people that can improve the team, maybe they just take the approach that just won't really bring in anyone extra. But you do see what happens when that does happen, and you don't strengthen them. It starts to go a little bit stale, and there's a lot of tiredness that sets in, and maybe that for me is what's happening to Leeds at the moment. Watford have looked all right so far this season. As you mentioned, Sarr, he's good. They seem to be doing okay. Life after Troy Deeney.
Do you think there'll be a lot of draws this weekend? I'm sensing a lot of draws.
I'm seeing draws this weekend as well.
I think Leeds could win this one.
My predictions are usually off. You think Leeds 2-1? Yeah. I think Leeds have to start winning, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go 2-0. Leeds.
That's what I was initially going to say, but Watford will score.
Yeah, I think they probably will, but I'm just going to make it different to yours. It's like that thing, like change your home up but make it different. Wolves versus Newcastle.
Ooh. I just can't bring myself to back Newcastle for any fixtures at the moment for the way they're playing. The thing is, they play okay at moments of the game. There's moments in the game where you think, oh, you can score here. St. Maximin's through. They've had these moments where they're through on goal and they look okay to get a result, but they're just not doing it. Yeah. It's not translating at all. So it's hard for me to back a Newcastle win. Maybe they could walk away with a point.
But the thing is, obviously, Wolves picked up their first win last week with Raul Jimenez scoring. So that's a big confidence booster for them as well.
And they're going to want to continue that, especially with a home game as well. They're going to... And I'm sure every manager and every team looks at their fixture list and thinks, how many points can we pick up here, here and here?
What a winnable game.
And they're probably looking at Newcastle thinking, this is a winnable game. Yeah. And they're going to expect to win that at the Molineux. So it's going to be hard for Newcastle. Very.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that Newcastle are a bit in dire straits at the moment. I don't know what they'd do if they didn't have someone like St. Maximin in their team creating anything. Obviously, they have Callum Wilson, but it's just the case. It's just not always clicking. Obviously, the fans and how they feel about the club. Steve Bruce, it's a little bit toxic for me. I know I shouldn't really talk being at Spurs, but still. But yeah, for me, I think this has got a Wolves win. I think they'll pick up the points in this one. I'm going to go 2-0 Wolves.
Ooh, I don't know what to predict. Yeah.
You thinking about it deeply?
I'll go 1-0 Wolves.
Okay.
It's hard, isn't it?
It is hard.
Yeah. I'm going to go 1-0 Wolves.
Okay, there we go. She's locked it in.
I've locked it in.
And the final game will be Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Crystal Palace looked all right the other night as well. Conor Gallagher looking a baller.
He's going to be like nominated for like Young Player of the Season or something. Yeah, like that.
He's looking to be a baller. He's a really, really good asset for Crystal Palace.
But they need to score some goals in open play. I need to see more goals from them.
Yeah, they do.
I think that's the only thing that's stopping them from looking like a team that
it's fully together.
Yeah.
But it does look to maybe finally be clicking a little bit under Patrick Vieira. I know they obviously conceded late.
Yeah. That was literally like seconds ago.
But that's about concentration, isn't it? And defensively just switching off at that final minute. But I thought the atmosphere was amazing at Crystal Palace, another home game for them. Whereas Leicester haven't looked so good in the last few weeks. Obviously, Jamie Vardy putting one in the back of the net, but scoring 2 as well. Yeah. But they're not on a great run, Leicester. Is this a moment for Crystal Palace to kind of strike while the iron's hot against Leicester?
Yeah, of course. Of course, you're going to want to look at every team you're up against and try to get the best result possible. Yeah. And with the form that Leicester's on, Vieira's probably looking at thinking, maybe in a different season we would be able to get a result against them at home, but this season, surely we can rattle Brendan Rodgers' feathers a little bit.
Yeah.
Rattle
and rustle them. Okay, prediction for this one?
2-1. Don't ask me to who.
I'm not asking you to who.
2-1. 1-1. 1-1. I don't know why I find it so hard to predict.
You find it really difficult.
Because I really want to be right. That's the thing.
Well, honestly, me and Flex was right on like 1 last week. I was nearly right on 1.
Yeah.
I had Brentford, Liverpool, I had it 3-2, and then Brentford equalised.
Yeah, see.
There we go. So what are you going for?
I'm going to go for 1-1.
You're going 1-1. Okay, I'm going to go 2-1 Crystal Palace on this one.
Ooh,
I'm just
that's a
Palace.
bold prediction.
No, why not? I'm just going to back
because
Palace.
Because technically, I think Leicester should win this.
Yeah, they should technically. But
so that's a bold
the way I've seen
prediction.
Leicester play at the moment, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. So I'm going to back Crystal Palace.
Okay.
I think they look the more likely. And of course, don't forget Ultimate Fan, who have also announced a £5 Uber Eats voucher for all UF and Gold subscribers and 50% off a grooming kit by the Personal Barber Shaving Club, and your weekly gold pack drops. Strengthen your UF squad now. The link is in the description. And that's all the games for this week. That's a really quick Premier League preview, wasn't it? We've sped through those. And of course, we will be back on Monday for the weekend roundup. So make sure you tune in to all the watch-alongs this weekend. Remember, those games are, just to remind you, Liverpool versus Manchester City on the Don Robbie channel, 5:30 on Sunday. Yes. And of course, the other game, if I can find it in here, there we go. Manchester United versus Everton, Saturday at 12:30. So make sure you're locked in, and we will see you on Monday.